Hey folks, it's Owen here again with another battle report. Battle report number 10. Can't believe I got up to 10 so quick. It's been great. A lot of fun doing these battle reports. So this is a battle report from last Thursday where I played Dave Houlihan, one of the local club members, and his Dark Elves. So scenario that we rolled up was Dawn Attack, and we're paying 2,500 points. We're using the scale comp, created by Matt from our club, plus a few other guys around the country as well, which was used in WarpCon. We've used it quite a bit, and it's very good. It's a change up, so we're going to use this for a while. Here's the spells that I rolled. I have a Lore Master, so he has all the signatures there on the left hand side. The main one, of course, on the top. And I got myself Fiery Convocation, Tempest, Hand of Glory, and Soul Quench, which is quite a nice roll up, really, for your spells. So, Dark Elf setup. Dave has he brought himself a nice army, a nice infantry-based army with a few chariots and a couple of bolt thrower. So it should be a lot of fun. On the left-hand side here we have 10 Cold Knights. Beside them we have 25 Dread Spears with just a musician. There's a Cold One chariot there and a bolt thrower. And over on the next side we have 25 Executioners with a musician, a big unit of Executioners, and his Master BSB is in there as well with his 1-up rerollable save. We also have 20 Corsairs with a musician, bolt thrower in between the two units, bolt thrower beside the Corsairs. His general is actually in the Corsairs, who's the Supreme Sorceress level 4 on Shadow with the Talisman of Preservation. So Shadow magic is going to be nasty if it gets off. Going over on the right there, he has 25 Dread Spears, which has another sorceress in there who's lower fire. She's got a Dispel Scroll, and there's another bolt thrower on the right hand side. So 4 bolt throwers, lovely. Over to my side, and I rolled quite a nice deployment here. So I have my 5 Reavers on the left, another 5 Reavers there in front of me as well, and a bolt thrower sandwiched right in the middle, which is nice. 15 archers there as well. They actually have a musician. I forgot to put that in there because I had a couple of extra points left over. 20 units, 20 sword masters in the full command who have the lore master in there, who's got the golden crown to give him 2+ ward save against the first wound that he suffers, and a dragon helm in case anything tries to attack him. I assume death was coming, but it isn't, so it's probably going to be useless. And Frost Phoenix is there behind him. First time I've properly used the Frost Phoenix. I've used him in a smaller game, but I finally got everything together. I got a nice stand for him, so I can't wait to use this guy. And just over here on the right hand side, we've got 20 Spearmen, and I put my general in here. Seeing as I was using Dark Elves, I said I wouldn't bother putting them in with the Phoenix Guard and the Standard Discipline because we get to reroll most of our panics and stuff like that. Yeah, lovely. Reroll panics instead of reroll the ones. But we take what we can get. He's level 4 on High Magic, so he gets his +1 to cast. He has a Book of Oath, which means he's going to be casting quite a few spells. Book of Oath, brilliant item. And Talisman of Preservation, just to keep him alive. I have an eagle there in the centre. I can't seem to get away from these eagles. I really like them. I love them. And I've actually painted this one, so I wanted to bring as much painted stuff as I could. I have 20 Phoenix Guard there in the front. Noble is in there again, Reaver Bow and the Shield of the Marworm. 15 archers beside him, and then a bolt thrower on the right. So I didn't steal the initiative on a 6, so Dave goes first. He had to reform on the left hand side there with his cold ones to move them around the little house. We said we'd just leave it where it was. I was going to take it off for him to make it a little bit easier, but he said, look, we might as well play with a bit of terrain and do some movement around instead of just pushing it forward and then forgetting all about it. So he reformed and moved up a little bit. Spearman moved up as well. The Cold One chariot actually failed its stupidity, so you only rolled a dice and you only got a 1, so it just crawled up a little bit. Right hand side then we have the Corsairs storming forward. There's actually the Executioner storming forward. The Corsairs storm-ish forward, and then the Cold One chariot does the same thing, and the Spearmen on the right wander down off the hill. Nothing really happened in Dave's first magic phase. I seem to be able to dispel quite a lot using the book. So we target my main unit of archers with some shooting. Hopefully, I was hoping he's going to target the unpainted unit, but never mind. So these guys lost 6, but they passed their panic check. So on to High Elf turn 1. First time I got to fly my Phoenix around, so I said I might as well bring him over to the left hand side and cause a bit of mayhem over here, because I think that the Cold One Knights are going to be a bit of a problem. Plus having a chariot over there is a bit dangerous as well. At least the wood is going to block some stuff going through, but a lot more help over here would be good. So I set the Reavers up just to move out slightly to tempt him into a charge Probably with both of them. And nothing else really moves. Sword Masters move a little bit, and that's it. And then on the right hand side, I just get my spearman to move over a bit to the right, just in case spells or shooting comes at my spearman, and my mage just to sort of bung out there and go into the Phoenix Guard just for protection. And I put the eagle out there in front just in case that we want to get a charge off, maybe on the chariot or the corsairs. We'll see what happens. So my magic phase was a bit of a bust as well, mainly because Dave uses the spell scroll, so it's not too bad. Get rid of the spell scroll on the first turn. Onto the shooting then, so we ploughed most of our shots into these guys. I didn't think I had much else to shoot really. I'd forgotten how much shoot or armor that they had, so I only managed to kill 6, but 6 is still quite a lot out of such a unit. So Dark Elf turn 2. The Cohen Knights passed their stupidity test and declared a charge on the first unit of Reavers there, who fled off, of course, and then redirected onto the other unit of Reavers, who also fled off. First unit did pass through the bow thrower, so they had to take a panic check, which they first failed. But thanks to our rule that we can recheck our panic tests for Dark Elves, we passed. So at least that actually came into play and was quite useful for me. And I think Dave just moved up the archers or the spearmen a little bit, and that was about it. The other chariot over there actually failed his stupidity test twice. Very unlucky for Dave. So he rolled a 3 and he moved up a small part. Corsairs, I don't think they really moved at all. And executioners wheeled across over to the side. I'm not sure what they were afraid of, because I'm certainly not going to be charging them with an eagle. So the Dark Elf magic phase begins with a fireball from his level 2, which goes off with irresistible force. It was a medium level fireball, so 2d6, and he's killed 6 guys, which is pretty good for him. Unfortunately for me, he only rolled a 7 on the dice and killed 3 of his own guys. I was hoping for something better than that. Then for more shooting, I think the bolt throwers, who were very unlucky in this game, only managed to hit my eagle and wound him twice, which means that he's going to do something in the back fairly soon. So High Elf turn 2. I'd never really used the Frost Phoenix except for one game against one of the other guys very early on. I think it was game 2 in the YouTube reports. So I wanted to see what he would do and how tough he was. So I put him straight into the spearman over there. Of course, I didn't think exactly what was going to happen when I did that. Once I got the Arc of Truth out, I realised that the Cohen Knights had a nice, easy flank charge right into him. So panic stations for me. And just over on the right hand side, my eagle declares a charge into one of his bolt throwers just to get out of the way from all those horrible units that would kill him. And I think it's the best thing for him to do. So rest of my movement, the 2 units of Reavers passed their rallies, and seeing as they feigned flight, they were able to move right back up to where they were. Put the leftmost ones right in front of the Cohen Knights. They die, so what? At least they're not going into the side of my Phoenix. And the ones there on the right, I just wanted to see if I could tempt that chariot into a charge. Of course, I didn't really think that I didn't put them far enough ahead so they can still charge straight into my sword masters. But I suppose if he even charges in there, at least I'll probably get to chop him up with some strength 5 attacks, which isn't too bad. Even though he is toughness 5, we'll have a lot of attacks going back. So I think it's kind of a win-win. Any more movement? Not really. I didn't see any point in moving these guys at all. My magic phase was a lot better in this turn. Got off a nice heavy soul quench at 46. Rolled quite high, and it was 3 to wound, so got rid of a lovely amount of these guys. So on to my combat phase, and the Phoenix gets in and stomps up a few lads. I didn't roll particularly well, but I still killed 5 guys, so it's quite impressive from this Phoenix guy. They were steadfast anyway, so they held on whatever they were rolling, 8 or 9. And the eagle does a great job over here, killing one of the crew members and doesn't take a wound in return. Great stuff from the eagle, so he's going to live to fight another day. So Dark Elf turn 3, and again another stupidity test failed, and on the Cohen Knights this time, which is awful luck for Dave. which means that if they move, I think they moved one die, what, d6, they moved 3, they had to stay 1 inch away from me, so they stay right there. And my Reavers are delighted, and so is my Frost Phoenix. To counteract this, probably moves his chariot over here just so he can get a nice charge in the next turn. So I don't think the Frost Phoenix is going to get rid of those guys, which means he's going to take a nice chariot to the side. But we'll see how. So the rest of the Dark Elf movement is the Executioners, who reform and move up a small bit. Corsairs move up a little bit as well, and the Cold One Chariot does exactly the same as well, just moves up and gets into range. We actually took a couple of wounds off it in the last turn as well, with a couple of bolt throwers. Both wounded, but both rolled a 1, so quite unlucky. Dark Elf Magic phase, and he gets off the Withering. When I say gets off, I actually let it go through because I was hoping he'd roll a 1 or 2. Seeing as the Spearmen are -1 to strength, and if I did get a 1 or 2, he'd still be wounding me on a 6, so I wasn't really too worried. It turned out he did roll 2, so he was still wounding me on a 6. The only thing I didn't cop was that it actually remains in play. It doesn't disappear at the start of his turn, so I made a big mistake there, and it does come back to kind of cost me a little bit. Close combat then, and my Eagle does another great job killing the bolt thrower, and seeing as it's my turn next, he's able to reform and get ready to charge over to the right hand side. Combat over there with the Phoenix now. He only kills 3 guys, so I think it's a push. Seeing as we kill 3, he's got 2 ranks. I think he has a banner in there as well. He's banner musician. I think I lost by that and I had to roll, but I passed, so I was lucky enough anyway. So High Elf turn 3, and the Eagle does exactly just that. He rolls up and he goes straight into the side of that bolt thrower. The Eagle is doing great, and he's only got 1 wound left, but he's still doing a good job. So the rest of the High Elf movement is that the archers have nothing else there, so they're just going to move up a bit, see if they can get into range or get into shoot somebody. The Reavers move up and get ready to charge the bolt thrower. Probably suicidal, since the bolt thrower has point blank range on them now, but so what? I have to do something with these guys, and they're not going to do anything else. What I probably shouldn't have done is move the Swordmasters up there. I should have left them where they were. They were happy, everything was fine. But I'm getting a little bit aggressive now, and it's probably not a good idea. The rest of my turn over here is I move the Spearmen back a bit because of the oncoming threat of the Corsairs and the Executioners. Leave the Phoenix Guard where they are because they're not really much of it. They're not worried about anything there, really, to be honest. And the archers stay there as well. So High Elf magic time, and another Soul Quench goes off. 46 again, but I rolled very low. I think I got an 8 or a 9, and I only managed to kill 4 more guys. So I think Dave saved a couple as well with a save of 6. So he did pretty well, and I still killed a few guys, so not too bad. And then the Lore Master gets himself a nice Spirit Leech. Only manages to take 1 wound off his guy though, which is a pity. But 1 wound less is all good. And the High Elf shooting phase is me and my Reaver Bow shooting at the Cold One Chariot. 2 hits, 2 wounds, 1 save from him. So he's got 1 life left. Can't get rid of him. And the combat phase, and the Eagle does another great job. Gets 2 hits, 2 wounds, kills the whole thing. Unbelievable stuff. This Eagle is making back so much points. So he overruns and tries to get into contact with the other bolt thrower, but it's way too far away. So I think he's done a good job killing 2 bolt throwers, but I don't think he's going to get to kill a 3rd. And back to combat. As I said, I completely didn't realise that this Withering was going to be left on as it remains in play, so I didn't dispel it. So I'm going to be in trouble in the next one. Saying that, he's still got a wound through my Frost Phoenix, who failed his 5 ward save. So it was a wound gone, and there's a chariot coming in, so things don't look very good for this guy. And the Dark Elf turn 4, that's exactly what happens. Chariot goes straight into the side of the Phoenix, and the Cold Ones aren't thick this time, so they go straight into the front of the Reavers. Who hold, obviously, because we're not going to give them a chance to go into the bloody Phoenix as well. Cold One Chariot attempts a charge on my Spearman. It was an 11, so rather than chance fleeing and not rallying or running off the board, I said I'll take the charge. Luckily enough, he rolls something like 6 or 7, and he only goes a couple of inches. So that's good news. Any more movement there? He just reforms with the Executioners because he sees the Swordmasters coming over. And the Spearmen on the right move over a little bit, but that's pretty much it. Dark Elf shooting phase, and the Eagle has had a valiant game, but finally gets pierced by, I think, five shots go through, and he gets really killed. So, good luck, Eagle. Alright, Dark Elf turn 4 combat phase, and this is a tough one. He comes in with impact hits, he gets 6 impact hits. He still has to roll pretty high. Strength 5 against, well, Strength 4 because of the Blizzard Aura, which we looked up and does actually affect it because it is considered the combat phase. Even if it is begin the combat phase, it's still the combat phase. So he's rolling 6s, he got 3 6s. I managed to save one of them, so I have 2 more wounds on my Frost Phoenix, so I have 2 lives left. Killed the rest of it, killed 4 more guys, and I actually attacked that thing itself, and I got 2 wounds off it as well. So it's got 2 wounds taken off it, which isn't too bad, and I'm not going to make a mistake with that Withering next time. So High Elf turn 4. Missed out on a couple of photos here because my phone actually started to die, so I had to put it into a charger. We just moved a couple of things around and went on to the magic phase. My magic phase was me dispelling the Withering mainly, and just another thing on the left hand side, the Colwins obviously killed the Reavers, and they overran a little bit over in the left as well. Another one of my magic phase though, and I got Soul Quench off again, so I got rid of another 5 of these guys. Took his test though, and he's safe again, so I just can't get rid of this unit. High Elf shooting, and the Reaver Bow earns its money back again by killing the Colwyn Chariot, which is great stuff. Gets rid of that hard hitting unit, and the Phoenix Guard don't have much else to really be afraid of up here at all. So onto the High Elf combat phase, and the Phoenix does a great job here. Put the Phoenix attacks on the Colwyn Chariot, which it kills, and then the Stomp goes on the unit, which it destroys. I think it was 4 or 5 more. So got rid of his Steadfast, and he ran. We chased him down, and we caught him, and we got rid of that unit. So that's some great work out of the Phoenix. And more High Elf combat over here. While the phone was dead, we got into combat with the Bolt Thrower, which rolled awfully. Hit with 1 dice and failed to wound the Reaver, which was very, very lucky for me. So the Reavers went in, took out the crew, and only lost 1 in return, which is great stuff. Very lucky. So Dark Elf turn 5. The Colwins declare a charge. Now, what I thought they were going to do was charge into the archers. And I said, well, fine, archers, let them be killed. But he was able to move around and get into the side of the Swordmasters. And when he declared that, I half thought, maybe I should run. Maybe I should have ran. But I said, you know what? We'll just take it and see what happens. He's going to kill a couple of guys. We should be steadfast. We can turn around and probably chop him up in the next round. And I had no problem with that. Of course, something else happens next, which is something I didn't think of. And that is, he also declares a charge with the Executioners. And this is after we put these guys in. Technically, it's supposed to all be done at the same time, where I could have held with the first charge and then fled from the second charge. But instead of arguing about it and saying this should be this, that should be that, we just said, look, it's just a friendly game, so put them in and we'll see what happens. This is where Nigel, who was watching, said, I think you know what's going to happen. You're dead. What are you doing? I said, look, we'll just do it, just throw them in and we'll see what happens. It'll make more of a game of it, and it'll be pretty funny to see anyway. So the 2 of them are in, and the Swordmasters, I think, are dead. Other movement from the Dark Elves then is for El Sorceress to sidestep to her left hand side and go into the other bunker, leaving the 3 lads all on their own. A very wise move. And on to the Dark Elf combat phase. And exactly what we thought was going to happen and what Nigel thought was going to happen happened. And my Swordmasters got chopped up into little bits, but they did take quite a lot with them. A couple of Colwyn Knights and quite a few Executioners as well. So at the end of it all, we lost by an absolute ton, and we have not got steadfast, so we're on double 1s. We had a reroll, but that didn't make any difference whatsoever. And because of that, Executioners didn't follow me up, but the Colwyn Knights did, and they caught me and ran me down. They are now in a very nice position. So High Elf turn 5, and I'm kind of at a loss what to do here. I forgot to do a little charge arrow over there on the right, actually, so where the Phoenix Guard charged into the remains of the Corsairs. Just want to get rid of those guys and do something with the Phoenix Guard. And well, nothing else I can do, really. What I probably should have done was just put my spearmen right in front of the Cohen Knights. So when they charged in, they would have just had to form up and would have blocked line of sight towards my mage. Big mistake is I give them a nice little turn where they can turn over there, open up a lane, and the executioners come straight in, which I didn't see at the time, and I made a big mistake of because I think I just lost concentration again. So that should be the end of him in a few more turns. And there we go. There's a charge over there. Archers on the right then just turn around and see if they can shoot somebody else as well, but there's not much else for me. Reavers move over there up the top there to the right as well, trying to get in the range of the bolt thrower. Poor picture, but all that happens here is we kill the Corsairs and we turn to face the bunker unit. So Dark Elf turn 6. Needless to say that my magic phase was a disaster, which was an even worse thing for me to happen when I'm in such a bad place. So Dark Elf turn 6, and all the charges work out very nicely for Dave. He charges into the bunker, maximizes, rolls them over a bit to the side, and then declares a charge as my mage, who I said fled. Unfortunately, he rolled a 3, and the executioners rolled loads more than a 3, so I ran him down, and they're just having a little dance in his body there. Dark Elf magic phase then, and just to dissuade me from charging in with my Phoenix Guard, who probably would have mopped up these guys pretty handily, he puts Ockram's Mind Razor on his unit, so I'm not going anywhere near those guys. And then Dark Elf combat phase, he destroys my spearmen, they run away, he catches them, and that's the end of them, and that's the end of Dave's turn. So my final turn, only thing I can do is charge the Frost Phoenix into somebody. He has a better chance of killing the executioners than he does of the Cohen Knights. Plus there is a BSB in there as well. So if I can manage to kill 5, well actually I need to kill 6. So we need to do pretty well on his attacks and his Thunder Stomp. Might get a chance to get these guys and send them off packing and hopefully get a lot of points back. But it's a big if. The charge over here fails, so these guys don't manage to get in contact with the last bolt thrower, and that's their game finished. And my final combat phase leads me to attack and kill one guy, and get a Thunder Stomp of a 1 and kill one more guy. So they're steadfast with whatever, 8, 9, BSB reroll, no problem, they pass that, and that is the game. So that's the end of the game, and I'm pretty sure it was a win to the Dark Elves because seeing as we're using scale, I was +1, so I was only going to win 19 points to 1. And seeing as he got rid of my Archmage, my Lore Master, all my Sword Masters, all the Spearmen, things did not go too well at the very end. But it was a lot of fun. We had a great time playing that game because it was new things for Dave using a lot of units. It was Frost Phoenix and me using no cavalry, well, not much cavalry, and things went pretty well. I enjoyed playing that game. I did learn quite a bit, noticeably that I have to keep my concentration for the entire game, but at the end of it, it all worked out quite well, where we all had some fun, rolled some dice and killed some guys. So that's all you really want, isn't it? So this is the 10th battle of all my reports, and hopefully may it continue. Hopefully I'll get some more going on. So we'll be back down the Hobby Shack on Thursday to record another game, and we're also doing a podcast as well, which we'll put up, and I'll put a link up as soon as we get that going too. So for the time being, thanks very much for watching, and take it easy.